Sporting touch of hands. Round number one. There's that fast start. And that is the fastest knockout in bare knuckle fighting championship.
K-Bomber, born in the Bronx, raised in Dade. Been in the city since Pit had braids. Bahapanti parties, plata know how to sneak me out. Now it's 7-figure meetings, every day we lead a house. It's game time, the game's mine, you know the vibe. Yo viajado el mundo entero, rapping 305.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Don't Blink Podcast.
Yes.
Me and the kid in the building.
Yes.
What's up, baby? How you doing?
Yo, we rocking and rolling, baby.
All right. Today I got my brother from another on the show, man. My brother, you know what? I'm gonna keep his government name out of here. It's Big Teach in the building.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
What's up, regretting yourself, my brother?
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah.
Listen, man, awesome to see all your success, man. You know what I mean?
Thank you, man.
Yeah, we've been around each other for many, many years.
Yeah.
We come from similar backgrounds, you know what I mean? So it's awesome to see my brothers making it to the top, man.
Likewise, my brother.
Thank you so much, man. Well, like I said earlier, you know, the show is to highlight you, man, and we want to, you know, give some people inspiration and let them know how you made it to here today, and you know how you got started. You know what I want to know? I know you a long time, but how is it you got down to Miami?
So I was locked up from 93 to 98 in New York, and I needed a change of scenery. I just needed to change my energy because the path that I was on when I was in New York, so when I came home in January 98.
Yeah.
And my mom put me on a plane. She's like, yeah, you getting out of New York. And at the time, I actually, I started cooking when I was in prison.
Oh, shit. You making ramen noodles?
Nah, you know, it's crazy because that was like my escape. Like, my mom used to send me, like, cookbooks and...
Oh, dope.
And like the first time like I kind of felt like mentally free was when I worked in the mess hall.
Oh, shit.
Because I was able to just go in there and cook and just kind of lose myself. And then, you know, we had like stoves and all that.
Right.
And so I would go back. And then actually when I went down to a medium, I started cooking and hustling. Like I started making like these like, we used to get like mackerel in the cans.
Right.
So I used to make patties. I put like I used to use a pancake mix and patties.
Mackerel worth some money in the joint too.
Yeah. And I was selling 2 patties and a soda for a pack of cigarettes, which is like cigarettes is like money.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it got to a point where I was taking care of myself.
Nice.
So that was kind of like I was like, okay, cool. Like I got something here. Going for myself. So that was kind of like the origins of it. So then I was like, when I get home, I'm gonna go to culinary school. I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying, like figure it out, and that was that. So when I came down here,
how old were you when you got out?
I was 16 when I went in, so 17, 18, 19, 20, like 20, 21, like a month before my 22nd birthday.
Young man.
Yeah. Boys and men, baby.
Yes, sir.
Boys and men. But yeah, so when I came home, and I went to vocational school. I went to Robert Morgan.
Okay.
Which is down south. And you know, I because I'm like a hands-on kind of person. Like I don't need to know like the history of sharpening knives, and you know what I'm saying. I just need to know how to do it. And I went to culinary school, and then my first job was actually Red Lobster. I used to work at Red Lobster down by the falls.
Oh shit!
And I hated that shit. But that's why I met my wife.
Oh no shit!
Yeah, she was a server.
Shout out to Vanessa, my sister, man.
Yeah.
So she was a server, and I was a cook or whatever. I did it. Hated it, and then it kind of went from my man Dewberry used to come in there all the time. God bless his dead. He passed away about 7-8 years ago, but he used to come in there all the time. He was a big promoter, club promoter, and he gave me an opportunity to start doing. I just came home, I was swole. So first he brought me in to do like security, and then he was like, "Nah, your personality is crazy." He put me on promotions. So club promotions led from club promotions to record label promotions. And actually, I got in a record label. I mean, I got in a music business because when I was out doing club promotions, somebody had lost their two-way pager at a club. And it was really like some karma shit. Like he lost his two-way at Amnesia.
Oh yeah.
And my homeboy found it, and I was just on some hustle shit back then. So I knew dudes that turn the pages on. And so he brought me the pager, like, yo, you know, turn this on. And I was like, nah, give it back to him. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't want to give it back. And I took it from him, gave it back to dude, and it happened to be my man Jeff Sanchez. Jeff worked for Luke.
Damn.
Right? So short story short, Jeff gave me a job at Luke Records. Pitt was signed to Luke at the time, so ended up meeting Pitt, toured with Pitt, you know, built a relationship with him, and, you know what I mean, ended up managing Pitt for 14
That's
years.
crazy. Doing the right thing. Doing the right thing got you to here today, man. It was the first major step.
That's actually when I remember seeing Teach and meeting you was those times from Baja Ponte and Pitt and all that stuff. When you had the dreads.
Right.
Yeah,
Teach
he
had the dreads down
in
his waist.
When you met me back then, I was a savage beast. Just came off the compound, man. I was, but you know, like it was that like Pitt needed somebody like me at that time because Pitt was. I was so hungry, and I literally wasn't taking no for an answer or nothing, right? And like, you know what it was with Pitt. Like Pitt was a UFO. Like Pitt's a Cuban white boy from down. Everything that Pitt was at the time was not what was it.
What was it? Yeah, what was it?
Right? And I saw something in Pitt that like I didn't understand how people didn't see what I saw.
Yeah.
So, like the
evolution of it.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying like how we came together and what it was at the time. It was just like it was just necessary at that time because I remember going in a barbershop and leaving CDs and coming back and like circling back around and dude threw the CDs in the garbage and choking niggas out like, yo, fuck you throwing my shit in the garbage. You know what I'm saying? But then I remember coming back and the same dude's like, yo, like when he started popping off, like dude was like, yo, you think you come do my birthday? And you know what I'm saying? Like, so, like,
he was in there walking in like Suge Knight and shit.
I mean, it ain't Suge Knight, but it's just like, like the psychology of men sometimes, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes like dudes don't see it until they see it, and sometimes you just need persistence and consistency to make people see it. So it was just necessary at that time. Like, believe me, like, and Pitt will tell you, like, because people just ain't like with music. If people can't put you in a category, right? Like, if you go on iTunes, it's like hip hop, reggaeton, this, that, and the third. Like back then, when you think about it, like what category was Pitt in, right? Because Pitt's a Cuban he's comfortable speaking Spanish on records, but like. It's not necessarily like reggaeton, you know what I'm saying? So it was really no category for him. You know what I'm saying? Like we had to kind of almost create a category for him, and it was just necessary because, people if they don't understand what category for, it just doesn't make sense to them. So we had to make it make sense. If that makes sense to you,
no, for sure. Hell yeah.
And before, I mean, were you ever like any part of the music industry before that time with Sanchez or?
Nah, well, I mean, nah. So before Jeff, no. Like I was doing like club promotions and stuff like that, and so Luke Records was like my introduction to the music because like when you promote clubs, right? Like literally you out every night. Yeah. If you ain't out every night, you know what I'm saying? Like you ain't out, you won't eat. You know what I'm saying? Well, what I saw like with the record label promotions, it was a lot of dudes that was out here doing it. Like Shot Booger, you had Fresh, Fat Man Fresh. You had it was a bunch of dudes that was out here doing it, but it was just different because like with the record label promotion, it was like you was promoting when you had a project, but other than that, you was working records, you was taking. But I was
almost like A&R almost.
Kind of, but it was like I was out like literally every single day. Like my life depended on it.
The whole street team.
Yeah, it was just so. I just felt like it was just different. So when I saw like, I felt like the record label promotion was like my the natural progression of what I was doing. So my first time working a project, Disco Rick put me on to Lil Jon. And I had started working Lil Jon's stuff.
Yeah, I remember that.
And so that was like kind of like my first time like working a record. But Luke was the first person like take me on the road and showed me the ropes and like really showed me like Luke just told me like if Jeff was the road manager today, but Jeff had to fly out for something, I'm the road manager. Yeah. So it was like shit. Like I ain't never been a road manager before, but I'm road manager today and figured out. Like, you know what I mean? Like And he just kind of just threw you in there and just let you figure it out. And then Pitt will tell you the same thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he let Pitt make his mistakes. He let him, but, like Luke was a beast with just kind of, and Luke really showed me how to work. Like, Luke's distribution was calling the record store, hey, you got that new peanut butter and jelly record? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we used to actually literally call the record stores and ship records to them. So it you know, so when I started working,
real independent.
Independent. So when I started working, like, you know, Bad Boy or, you know, Rockefeller, Virgin and all that kind of stuff, it was kind of like a layup to me because they had like all this like machines behind them, and I was just so used to just doing it like, you know, the mom and pop way. So
that was awesome, yo. But and then after the Pit venture. Right, then you jump into that's when you got the Mac.
The thing is, I worked with Pitt for 14 years, like on a handshake. Like me and Pitt never had no contract, never had. It was just like always like
family,
man on our word. You know what I'm saying? And then when it just kind of, so my father passed away in 2013, right? And I remember flying with Pitt because my father was from Trinidad and he had a show in Trinidad. I remember flying with him on a jet to Trinidad. I didn't know if I was gonna stay or come back. I ended up coming back with him, and we kind of talked. But I was just kind of on, like, when my father passed away, I was on the fence, right? Like just career wise and everything else. So my father lived in Detroit, and he passed away suddenly. He woke up one morning. He's a Trinidadian. He was really stubborn, wouldn't go to the hospital and stuff like that. So he woke up one morning, kind of stumbled. He had remarried. And his wife was like, I'm taking you to the hospital because he just didn't look right. He goes to the hospital. His lips were blue. They went to do a scan on his chest. They thought he had pneumonia, and he ended up having a tear in his aorta.
Oh, shit.
So they rushed him in.
He's internally bleeding.
Yeah. So they rushed him into surgery, basically, and he didn't make it back out of surgery. I was in Miami. Thank you. I was in Miami, jumped on a plane, went up there. But by the time I landed, he had already passed away. So it was really sudden, and when I went in, me and my sister, we sat in the room with him for like a couple of hours and just kind of you know, the finality of death, right? And it made me realize that a lot of times, like, we think we got all this time to do all these things, right? Like, but the reality is you don't, and we got one shot at life, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it just it hit a light switch in me. It made me just kind of look at things differently. And at that point, my legacy was helping build other people build their legacies. Right. And I was like, yo, like, if I checked out today, right, like, what is my legacy? Like, what do I have to lead to my kids? Like, so I just started, like, kind of like looking at things a little bit differently.
Yeah, looking internally at what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So I had went to culinary school prior. I never really did anything with it, but that was always like my passion. Like, I always used to cook in the studios. Yeah. When Pitt signed to Sony, I went to his house. I cooked at his house for him and his family.
Yeah, all your house parties too. You always have these places.
we used to do barbecues in my house all the time because we used to travel all the time. And then so when we used to come home, those were only times where we would be able to, like, see each other's families.
Yeah.
Families and, you know what I'm saying, kids and all that stuff. So the food just kind of brought people together. Yeah. So it was always like my passion, but I just never did anything with it like that. And then Bun B from legendary UGK,
yeah.
Bun is like a good friend of mine, and Bun used to always be like, Bun followed me on Instagram, and like he would see the lobster mac, he would see like these different things that I was doing, and so like one time he was like, yo, I'm coming to Miami, I need that lobster mac. And then the first time I made it, it just turned into like ritual. Like every single time he's in Miami, yo, I'm recording over here, I need this. I got a house over here, bring it, you know what I mean? So it turned into like just like kind of like a like every time he's here, I had to do it. And Bun was like the one that like really sat me down and was like, homeboy, listen, I know you doing your thing with Pitt, I know you got this and that going on, but listen, you got to do something with this cooking. You got something special, and you know, like I'm like, man, I'm not trying to jump back in. I was in the music business. I was neck deep into the music business. I was working with Pitt. I'm working with Rocky. I'm working with Gotti. I'm working with, you know what I'm saying, like Brian Leach.
And you're financially straight with your family, thanks to the music. So
so like I'm like, kitchen. Wow, I'm not going back in no kitchen, because what I remembered of a kitchen, but also when I worked in the kitchen, I was working for somebody.
Yeah.
So I just didn't see it. And then one day he came down here and they got this it's like a cannonball run race called Gumball 3000.
Yeah. I've seen that.
So he came down here for Gumball 3000. Eve's husband runs it or whatever. And they were staying at the W in South Beach. So he calls me over there. He orders like a bunch of food, and he's like, "Look, just go stand over there in the corner. I just want to show you something." He calls all the dudes down from the Gumball 3000, takes the foil off the food, and they just start, you know what I'm saying? They go crazy, right? And then they like, "Yo, order another pan. Where you get this from?" And then like I'm standing in the corner, so he turns around, and he looks at me like, "You see what I'm saying?" Like, you know. And so when everybody leaves, he sat me down, and he just had to talk with me. He's like, "Look, if you don't at least shoot your shot, you're never gonna forget yourself later on in life." And so that was I want to say that was like mid 2014. I gave him my word. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna go for it. So then I bought the truck I incorporated the company, bought the truck in 2014. And then I was kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I would be on conference calls, you know what I'm saying? I'm on conference calls with Sony, and they like, "Hey, somebody mute your phone. There's a bunch of noise in the background." I'm in the background chopping up chicken on the grill or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But it came to a point where it just kind of started. I had to make a decision like what I was going to do because it started taking off. But it was also like really time consuming, and if I really wanted to do it, I had to. And I didn't want to, from an integrity standpoint, I didn't want to cheat my artists because I know, like, you know what I mean, like that requires 100%. Because if you're an artist and you require me to try to help you break your record, it requires me to really lock in and
really
make sure
there.
I'm doing that. And I found myself like kind of being like 50-50. Yeah, I had to make a decision, and I was like, yo, you know what? I'm a better myself, which is like crazy because like I really stepped outside of the music. The music business was my comfort zone for a long time, right? And so it was a lot because I'm kind of making a statement here, and it's like, you sure you want to do this? I'm like, you know what? I'm going for it. I took the leap. And that's the hardest part.
Yeah, like it's almost like starting all over again, but not really starting all over again because you starting with all the knowledge and all the like motivation.
Well, yeah,
to
but
accomplish
one thing is, I remember when you started with that because you bought the truck and the truck was giving you a ton of problems.
Yeah, so it was a time where I was like, "Fuck, did I do like shit?" Because I bought this truck, like the first truck that I bought, it was a lemon, right? So. You know, I had a few dollars, and even when I stopped working with Pitt, like Pitt was like, "All right, well, I'm gonna shoot you some bread." You know what I'm saying? Go, figure out what you want to figure out. Whatever. So, me and Pitt, we stopped working with each other amicably. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like it just kind of, it's just like we like brothers, but it just came to a point where
his thing was running on its own, basically.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and so I went to go try to figure out my thing, and he was like, "I was, shot me some bread, whatever." So I walked away from that half few dollars, but now I take the money that I had, and then I'm like, "All right, cool." I'm throwing it against the wall to see if it stick. I put 100,000 into a truck, and then this truck is some bullshit, right? Like because so this was a lesson for me, right? Like so the beautiful truck, they built out a brand new kitchen inside of it and everything, but then they tell me.
The motor's fucked. Man.
No, it wasn't even a motor. It was what happens is like when you purchase, because a lot of these food trucks, they're like old like Lay's, Doritos trucks or whatever, and so they got like a lot of miles on it or whatever. But so what he told me is like you're never supposed to purchase a truck above Tennessee because the snow. It rusts the chassis of the truck, so it causes a lot of problems like electrical problems and whatever. I ain't know that. I'm like, truck look good to me, right? Yeah. The engine looked good.
I didn't know that till you just said it.
So you just said it. It makes perfect sense for sure.
The bottom of the truck gets, because all the snow, it gets rusted and all that stuff. So I bought the truck was from Chicago, right?
Oh, man. Yeah, forget about that.
Right? So,
the dude up there's like, got him.
but the good thing about it is, because I came from the music business, when I bought my truck, they're like, well, how you gonna finance it? I walked in there with the bag, with the duffel. You know what I'm saying? So the lady, she, I put a stack of cash on the table and bought my truck, and she had all the paperwork to sign it. It was a page in there where she was like, as is, the as is clause. And I was like, yeah, I don't feel comfortable signing that. But she looking at the money, she ain't looking at the contract. So she's like, okay, we'll come back to that. I never signed it. Tucked it away. The transmission blows like 2 months later.
Oh, shit.
She pulls out the contract. Well, the contract clearly states, but I'm like, I ain't signed that. You might want to go look at that. And she went back in and it wasn't signed, so she had to fix it.
Whoop-dee.
Right, exactly. So but I went through hell with the first truck.
Sure.
Then I had then I bought the second truck. A friend of mine, he spent like $165 on a truck for his mom, brand new. It was like at the time it was like a 2015.
And that's what things go for, like that much.
Well, because he bought a brand new truck and he put a brand new kitchen
with the kitchen in it and all that.
So it was so I bought it from him for $125. But we made 2.4 off of the 125. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
So yeah, like it. So
well, let's give a round of applause for that right there. That's 2.4. All right, that's 2.4. All right.
It was a learning experience. You know what I'm saying? And it was just trying to figure it out. But I didn't realize like how many people I inspired. Like I didn't realize how many people was following my story, and you know what I'm saying? Like, and not even just from a food perspective, but just the leap of faith perspective. Because there's a lot of people, right? That, like I went and spoke at a college one time. I went and spoke at I don't know if it's FIU or Johnson & Wales, and I spoke on this panel. And at the end of the panel, I'm just telling my story. Like I never candy coat. Everything I say, check out. You can go. You know what I'm saying? I don't be trying to. And a professor came to me after this. She was like, "Yo, I just put in my 2-week notice, man." She's like, "I just put in my 2-week notice. I needed everything you just said on that panel. I needed to hear that, and I'm gonna go for it because that's the scariest part, right? Yeah. Like that's the scariest part. Like people,
that first step is scary, man.
Yeah, because like it's the comfort zone is a very dangerous place, right? Absolutely. Because you get a job or you get a situation where you making money, but like, are you happy, right? Like,
exactly.
Do you wake up? Are you
gonna leave a legacy, like you said too?
Yeah. And a lot of people feel like that, but it's just like, what if this don't work? Or what
fear.
Yeah, but what if you never take that shot? Like you 100% gonna miss that shot if you don't take the shot, right? And so, like, like even with Pitt, like I've been blessed to have like killer instinct. I mean, as a fighter, right? You can learn all the technique in the world, but you can't learn heart, right? Like you can't like that. I saw that fight you had. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't teach heart. Like you can't make somebody keep going and you know what I mean? And I've been blessed. I think that's why I was able to see what I saw in Pitt. And even when other people didn't see it, because you got the suits, you got the smart people, and it's like the books and all that, but you don't got the third eye to see like when Pitt was a diamond in the rough, it was a lot of people that just turned his back. They were like, oh, he too Latin, oh, he too urban. Like this shit was like literally when we used to go to BT, they're like, oh, he's too Spanish. When he was going
too Latin for hip hop and too hip hop for Latin.
I'm saying like shit was crazy. Oh, his pants is too tight. Oh, this. Oh, like it was always like some bullshit that we always had to fight. And like he was wearing the fitted shit before, and then it turned into this whole skinny jeans shit. Like, but he was comfortable in like, yo, fuck y'all, I'm rocking my shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Back then, but. It was always too on the urban side. It was always like he too Latin. On the Latin side, it was like he's too urban. He got to be a certain percentage. This, you got to, you know what I'm saying. But I had the killer instincts enough to like know that like I don't give a fuck what y'all think. Like we, you know what I'm saying. This is it. Yeah. This is what it is, and we fighting for that. And that's what like a lot of the smart people don't have sometimes. It's like you got the book smarts. You know how to write a contract. You know how to whatever, but. You don't have the heart to like go fight this. Like when we used to go to TVT and they're like, oh, well, we want to work this single. But I'm like, yo, we just was in this city and this song right here is going crazy. You can't tell me this ain't a single. This is a single because we know it's a single. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you got like some suit that's sitting at a desk and they like, well, we're looking at the BDS spins and we looking at, blah, blah, blah. And you're trying to tell me what it is based on numbers and charts. And it's like, homie, I'm out in the streets. Like I got my finger on the pulse.
Right.
What the fuck is happening? You can't tell me that this record is not a record. Or like when we telling the label like, yo, you gotta come to Cayocho and you have to promote this, and they're like, well, we don't. You can't tell me like you have to do this stage at Cayocho. You know what I'm saying? And like the day before Cayocho, well, we don't know if we want to, whatever. And I gotta go jump on a plane and fly and go. You know what I'm saying? Like because
gotta go put down.
Believe me, bro. Like it was definitely. it's definitely a lot of conversation, a lot of things that like people just don't understand. That we had to fight for Khaled. I remember Khaled shooting the "Holla at Me Baby" video, and he shoot everybody verse and like, well, I don't know if we gonna be able to. Nah, nigga, what you mean? We've been standing out here. We in the middle of overtime shooting. I had to like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, what you mean you not gonna shoot Pit verse? Like, what you talking? Pit will tell you the story. Like what you mean? You just shot Fat Joe and this, 9 3rd, and nah, what you mean, nigga? Y'all better keep that shit rolling, nigga. Like, what you talking about?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we had to fight for it all. You know what I'm saying? So whatever Chico got, believe me, that nigga fought for that shit. He put in work for that shit, and but just going back to it, it's just I've always been blessed to have like just third eye killer instincts, and when I see something and I want something, I just lock in on it, and I'm gonna figure out a way to get it done. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man. And there's a couple killers on the team, man. Besides Pitt, Teach, we got Demi, man. Shout out to Demi.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Demi, hell yeah, my brother D. Man, you know one thing that I saw from the beginning, because I saw from the beginning the transition when you got the truck too. A lot of things that I felt like was great since you were so good. Since you were so great, the people in the music business too, everybody would come to your truck, and then everybody wanted to follow that. So you'd go eat at Teacher's truck, and you had a line around the block with her in Wynwood.
I mean, I'm grateful, man. Like I've been able to keep my face clean. You know what I mean, over the years, and it's
hard to do in that business.
It's hard to do it not for me. I just don't get me wrong. Like I've made mistakes. I've done things, whatever. You know what I'm saying. But like for the most part, I just try to just keep my face clean, man. You know what I mean? Just try to just do right by people, and that's basically what it was. So, I remember people coming to me and saying, "Yo, I remember that conversation we had, man. That shit changed my life." And to be honest with you, some of the conversations I don't even remember having the conversations. It's like, because I never saw it as like nothing extra. It don't cost me nothing to try to help somebody or give somebody some free game or like. Sometimes I think people be looking at situations and they overcomplicate it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just kind of need somebody to help you deconstruct it and like just put it in perspective. Like, oh no, just do it like this, boom, 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 and just simplify it. And so I've helped a lot of people sometimes.
From another point of view.
Exactly. Well, real talk though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And sometimes like it's not that complicated. Just dumb it down, simplify it, and like. Just people that like literally circle back around and like, yo, bro, like what you told me on this day, this helped me change my life, or it helped me change my perspective on things, whatever. And so when I started the truck, man, like, a lot of people complain like, they don't fuck with me, they don't support, man. Like I can honestly say, man, like, the community, South Florida, just my peoples, and just like people helped me fulfill my dreams and what I was trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Because it kept me going. Like, it was times where, like, my truck would break down, and I always, like, shared, like, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I never just shared, like, the pretty shit. I'd be like, yo, this shit broke down again. We over here. And I would post something like, yo, truck just broke down. We over here. And people would just fucking pull up. Like, where you at? And pull up. I had mechanics pulling up. I had dudes pulling up, helping me push the truck.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? Random dudes that like, yo, I'm a mechanic. Look under the truck. Tell me what's like actually wrong. Go into the mechanic with me. Or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, it's up and running right now. I got you. But you got to go get this fixed. But at least, you know what I'm saying? I ain't stuck on the corner of 36. So, yeah, it's just, it's been a great an amazing journey. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah, bro.
Bless him, man.
And definitely inspiring, man. And it goes to what Uly was saying. The community does love you, bro, and they love you. They love your food. That thing is amazing.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely, yeah.
Damn, I'm supposed to bring some food up here. I forgot.
We're talking about it. I'm like, I hope he pull up with some mac and cheese.
You know what it is? I live around here now. So I live around here, and for some reason, I thought y'all was like in Wynwood or something. So I was like, I'm gonna go to the restaurant first and then whatever. But I came here from my house.
You know what we got to do together though, man? We got a thing called Fighting versus Hunger. We're feeding the homeless all through Wynwood. We got to hit them with some little mac and cheese, man.
Whatever you need, bro.
That's awesome, my brother. That's awesome. And I know also you right before when was it? Because I remember you went from you started being an A&R with the company for a while too, right?
I was VP. I was VP.
Right.
So Brian Leach, like Brian. I actually sent Brian a message today, and I told him, I'm like, Brian was the first person to sign Pitt, but Brian also signed Lil Jon, Yin Yang Twins.
Right.
Brian been in the game, I don't know, probably going on like 30 years now. But Brian was like our first deal at TVT, and then he did our second deal when we went to Sony. He brought, you know what I'm saying? So I shot him a text this morning, and I was just like, yo, I just want to tell you, thank you for, paving the way for dudes like me that was, I was a little rough around the edges, and I just needed some guidance and showing me a way because, the music business, like Brian was the first person to give me a job, like because Luke Records was Luke Records, but like Luke Records was,
was the ghetto compared to the corporate.
I ain't say the ghetto, but like Luke Records was definitely. It's definitely been
not as corporate as the other situation.
Has some loose.
When I went into the J Records building, dudes had the cardigans wrapped around their shoulders.
The Carlton.
That's awesome. But like Brian was the first person to give me like a job inside of like the machine, and that was that. Like he showed me like when you read an email, you read it from the bottom to the top, so you can kind of like decipher the whole entire conversation. Like Brian really put me on to like a lot of game, like on the corporate side, and the music business translates into everything that I'm doing right now because it taught me critical thinking, right? When you're managing artists and when you're working with, like me working with Pitt is totally different from me working with A$AP Rocky. Totally different people. Yeah. The way I got to approach the projects and stuff like that. Me working with A$AP Rocky is totally different from me working with Yo Gotti. Me working with Yo Gotti is totally, you know what I mean? Like every artist is different. And, you got to be able, and I was the guy that was always on the ground. I was in Memphis with Yo Gotti. I was in Miami and everywhere with Pitt. I was, you know what I mean? I was in wherever Rocky was moving. I was moving around with these guys. And, you got to kind of adapt to that, right? And so when I started doing food, when my generator go down, there ain't no pressure because I am figured shit out. Where other people panic and it's like,
they drown in a cup of water.
Yeah, exactly. But like I'm just so used to pressure. I'm used to like we actually thrived during COVID.
Right.
When people was like losing their shit and like, oh my God, and you know what I'm saying? We was just like, all right, cool. We just gotta just kind of circle back around and figure it out. It is what it is. I didn't lay off not one person. I didn't cut not one salary. I didn't, you know what I mean? And I'm proud of that because it's a lot of people.
It should be. It's huge.
A lot of people ain't make it through that, right? But we stood solid, and I attribute a lot of my experience in the music business for like just conditioning me mentally to be able to deal with a lot of pressure that I deal with daily with employees, and it's a lot, man.
Yeah, it's a lot. How many employees you got?
Almost 100 right now.
Oh, yeah.
100?
Almost, yeah.
That's awesome, my brother.
Damn, hell yeah, bro.
Hell yeah. And on top of that, man, he's a father of 2 children too, man. He's a family man.
Hell yeah.
That's
but you know what's amazing? Like
100.
It's a memes. It's like, what do you bring to the table? And I was like, well, I bring the table to the table.
Right.
My son's first job is at my son's first real job was with me. My wife is my operation. It's a family-run business.
Yeah.
But what's dope about when you build your own table, then you can eat with who you want to eat with, right?
Yeah.
Like you bring to the table who you don't have to settle and you don't have to deal with politics and bullshit and all that other stuff. You bring who you want to bring to the table, and you put the team together the way you want it.
Absolutely. And you said something real important that hit at home for me, man, because I do the same thing. No matter what position you're in, and you're in a great position, for you to say that you sent that text out today saying how you appreciate what Brian did for you,
Yeah, you got to be grateful.
Yeah.
You got to be grateful.
Exactly what I said, actually. Because, my spirit just told me to do that, man. But it's just, I think it's important because, like, we live in a generation where people don't give people a...
I'm huge on that, man. I'm huge on Sean. I love to show how grateful I am, especially from where we come from, man. I love to tell people that I appreciate what they've done for me, and certain conversations where like Teach had with people have put me where I'm at today.
I said, all bullshit aside, I'm proud of you and all your accomplishments. Thank you for helping to pave a way for people like me that was lost and needed guidance. I'm grateful. You know what I'm saying? Like just randomly, because he hit me today on something else, and I'm just like, I think like. Sometimes like we get caught up in whatever we caught up with, and and me also, like, as somebody that, like, you know, I help a lot of people, and I, you know, people. One thing about success, like, people think it's lonely.
Yeah,
and that's one thing I've learned. Like, people think, like, because you have some type of success, that you got it all figured out, and sometimes, like, you don't need, like, encouragement, or you don't need somebody, like, you know, telling you, like, yo, keep going, or, like, you know, like, whatever. Because, you know, like, who does a successful person go talk to?
Yeah,
right, outside of, like, a therapist or a shrink or something like that. Yeah. It's like people look at you in your life and they think you just got everything all figured out all the time. So, you know, like, nah, he'll figure it out. He good. You know, like, when Pac got hit up, it's like, nah, he gonna be good. Like, you know what I'm saying?
He gonna bounce back. Yeah,
he gonna be, you know, like, you know, it's
Yeah, but we all definitely need a little push like that, man. It makes, you know, it makes you feel good. It makes you know, it lets you know that you're doing something the right way. You know?
Yeah. Because sometimes, you know, it's some of this shit is no blueprint, man. You know what I mean? Some of this shit you create in a way, like, what the way that we approach the food business with the food truck and all that kind of stuff, the way we did it. You know, it's people that's going to come behind me and kind of follow what I did. But prior to what I did, it was really no blueprint for me to approach it the way that I approached it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you ever seen a meme and it's like what success looks like, and it's like a straight line,
and then a whole bunch of squiggly.
What success really looks like, and it's like a squiggly line. That's like my life in real life. But you know, you gotta create that target. And I have, like, mentors like Damon John and like, even Luke. You know, I talk to Luke every week. Like, we talk, and, you know, sometimes, like, when I'm trying to do things, you know, the blessing that I've had with keeping my face clean is, like, when I need these dudes, and I don't need nothing financially. I don't need nothing. Sometimes I just need, like, advice, or I need to bounce it off somebody that I know. And the other day, I told Dame, I'm like, Dame, let me take you to breakfast. We went and sat down and we talked. And I'm like, yo, look, I'm trying to do this, that, and third. And, like, yo, he just went through he just started just plugging me with people, right? And I told Luke, I'm like, I'm trying to. Because, you know, like, Luke revolutionized the music business at the time, right? Like, Luke did something in the music business. Luke, and people don't give Luke enough credit for what he did, but Luke was, like, literally the first independent before. No, and all due respect to all these other guys, but Luke was the first independent label in the South. Like, Luke had his own vinyl plant.
The reason we got parental advisory is because of Luke Campbell.
Luke went in and he fought the fort. You know what I'm saying? He fought the fight.
Right.
But he was the first independent record label. Like, Luke was pressing his own vinyl and his own tapes, bro. Like, Luke, he was calling the record stores and, like, no middleman. Like, he calling the record stores and sending his music to you, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? So
absolutely. And not only did he fight the fight, he took it to the top and fought it at the Supreme Court. You know what I mean?
So people take it. You know, it was a minute ago, but, like, people take that lightly, and sometimes, like, they don't really give him the props that he really deserves. But, like, you know, like, he was a genius, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, he did this shit before anybody was thinking about doing the shit on that level, because everybody else was going to get deals and everybody else was without. He did the shit independently. So, you know, for me to have somebody like that I could call and ask for advice, and knowing that I'm trying to do something that I'm doing, but I'm trying to do it outside the box. I'm not trying to do it traditionally or like
your own way.
And just knowing that I got somebody that I could call and they pick up the phone. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's my blessings. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That's
absolutely.
dope.
And the thing about success, too, is everybody that, you know, looking from the outside in, they think it's overnight success. And it's been 20 years in the making, you know?
Pitt had a saying about that, too. I forgot what it is. Like, it's funny. I forgot I ain't going to quote it. But it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm overnight success, but shit, I've been working for 20 years.
15 years in the making. Yeah, absolutely, man. My brother, and what's going on next, man? What I know you just opened up a store, yesterday?
Yeah, North Miami Beach.
Miami Beach.
We opened it a little while ago, but we actually, due to COVID and stuff like that, we never actually got a chance to do the ribbon cutting and like officiate it. So the city, the mayor, and the commissioner and everybody came out yesterday, and we officiated North Miami Beach. We just opened up a 4,000 square foot kitchen in Orlando. That's cool. We're servicing the Hyatt. So the other thing we got right now, we're doing the Hyatt Regency, the one James L. Knight Center, and the Confidant Hotel on the beach, which is also a Hyatt property. And we've been like servicing like some Hyatt hotels, but we needed a kitchen that we could fulfill all that stuff in that wasn't kind of getting in the way of. Right. And so we got like this 4,000 square foot kitchen in Orlando, and we're doing everything like out of there now. And then we're also using the kitchen as like a ghost kitchen in Orlando to like do like Uber Eats, Postmates, stuff like that. Damn. So just I want to grow the brand at a rate where I can maintain the integrity of the brand, right? Like I don't want to because it's a lot to replicate an experience. Right. And what I don't want to do is grow too fast and lose kind of like the essence of the brand. Right. So we just been trying to grow it at a rate where we can kind of maintain the integrity and maintain the experience. You
know what? Speaking on that real quick, I want to ask you, because you opened up at South Beach one time, you had some trouble with a partner too. So you went through those troubles. That's why you're doing it the right way now.
Well, or
not the right way, but you found out what could happen.
Yeah. Well, legally, I can't really speak on like some of these things because I was just whatever. But let's just say that like I just learned some important lessons throughout the journey, and all money is not good money, and so that's also part of the reason why I'm very cautious about like who I got. Every day I got like some athlete or somebody that want to line up and want to throw money against it or whatever case may be. And it's not that I don't want, or what I'm saying, like I don't think we could do something with it, but it's just you got to understand like my vision. Like I'm not even chasing a bag right now, bro. Like when I made my first $1 million, like I remember when I used to do music, right? Like I used to my measuring stick for success was like financial, like watches, cars, you know what I'm saying? Like just like
material things,
material shit, right? And I made $1 million, and it's like
still ain't happy.
It wasn't. I wasn't happy. I mean, financial freedom is great, but I didn't feel fulfilled. Yeah. And when I started creating businesses and putting business, like I had 2 businesses in Overtown, right? So like last year we put $1 million in employment back into the community, right? But the $1 million, like those jobs that we put back in the community, those are some people that like. If they wasn't working, they're gonna be getting to it however they get to it, right? And as a convicted felon, it's also because I've faced going into places where people won't hire me because I got a record. Like, how the fuck you judging me over some shit? I'm 45. You judging me about some shit that I did when I was 16 years old? Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's the same person. I know cops that, like, done shit that, like, if they got caught for the shit that they did when they were 16 years old, they wouldn't be cops, or they wouldn't be in the military, or they wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? Right. Like, nobody's the same person they were when they were, I was a fucking kid, right? But when I create businesses, I can look at somebody and sit down and have a conversation and look somebody in the eye, and if I feel like you genuinely need another opportunity, I can give you an opportunity, and I can look past all of that. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of that in these communities where I'm going to put these businesses. So from a purpose standpoint, it was just important that I go in and I represent us and just, work on trying to buy back the block, because there's a bunch of gentrification going over there, and if we not buying that shit back, who going in there and buying that shit back? And they don't care about Pookie, and they don't care about none of that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? They care about whatever they care about, and if not, get out the way. You know what I'm saying? So
they trying to make New Jack City into Beverly Hills.
You already know. So like I mean, it's purpose over paper for me right now. You know what I mean? Like I'm definitely trying to step into. I just want to. Bro, like from a legacy standpoint, man, I just want to just make a difference. I just want to be somebody out here just existing and just, you know what I'm saying, just taking. I want to know what I could give back, and like what kind of, I want my legacy to be something that like really means something.
Absolutely, man. I feel you 1,000%. That's the reason I changed my life around, man.
Congratulations, by the way, bro. I'm proud of you. I'm super proud of you.
Thank you, my
brother. Teach, you had said something right there. You said purpose over, what was it? Purpose over paper, boy. Oof. I like that.
I mean, you know what I mean? Because, it's just important, though, bro, because, like, a lot of times, like, we get caught in, like, you chasing money. Money is good. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I like nice shit. I like all of that. But, like, none of that shit means nothing if there's no
meaning behind it.
Like, purpose behind it,
you know what?
Purpose, for sure.
Pitt told me a long time ago, man, the more you chase the paper, the more it runs away.
And what's crazy, my bro, like, listen, and the crazy thing is, like, like what I've been doing now, like even a lot of things that I didn't understand why or how they happened, when they happened, you know what I'm saying, like during my music career, whatever case may be. But it ended up being like the best thing that ever happened to me, right? And I never walked into this like, I'm trying to take the bag, but I'm in the best position in my life that I've ever been in.
That's
like,
why, though. That's why.
You know what I mean? And it sounds like cliche, and it sounds like just some shit you just say or whatever case may be. But like, I don't wake up like trying to. I'm not even on that. But it just comes and it falls in place. I don't even stress nothing. Right. Like I don't stress nothing I can't control, and I just put my energy into solutions. I don't sit there and try to like. You know what I'm saying? Like, stress and worry about things that I ain't got no control over, but, things that I do, I just try to put my energy into finding solutions. But it's just been blessed, bro. I'm blessed, man.
Absolutely. You absolutely are, man. And
so that's like a never too late story.
Exactly. I was going to bring that up, too. We now that we're on that, this for you, by the way.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah. Alley-oop.
Man,
yo, this episode's been amazing.
Jam after jam.
He's teaching, bro. Teachers in here teaching. I said it from the beginning.
You know what? We never got to that. Where Big Teach came from.
So
he's gonna say, when I was a teacher, I was.
No, I wasn't actually. When I used to live in Brooklyn, when I was a kid, I used to wear glasses. I had LASIK surgery, but when I was a kid, I was like a wild little dude in Brooklyn, and I used to wear glasses, and they used to be like, "Yo, you look like a teacher." I used to be fighting all the time. I was probably the New York version of, I wouldn't say quite an old dog, but I was definitely I was definitely
a menace to society.
Not even. I was misunderstood. Let's just say that.
Yo, you was brolic like that when you was little.
I was there too.
Brolic, not brolic fat. Pre mac and cheese and
lobster.
Yeah. So but I let's just say I was misunderstood as a youth, and I used to wear glasses. So I was like a little rough around the edges, and then like in New York we used to tag. Yeah. We used to write our names everywhere and shit like that. And they say you look like a teacher. So like it started off as a joke, and then I started tagging that shit teacher. And then it started.
Here we are 40 years later, bro.
Yeah, and it was like, and I changed it from teacher to Big Teach. Yeah. And then it just ended up being my nickname. So it just stuck with me from a kid.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Listen, man, a big part of the show is we always talk about aliens, but I feel we've dropped so many. I think we are aliens here, man. We dropping gems on people, bro. My brother, truly appreciate you having you here, man. For real.
No, I appreciate the opportunity. Yeah. I appreciate the opportunity, bro. And I'm grateful for you, like, and I'm grateful that you got your platform. I watch your podcast all the time, stuff like that. Awesome. But I'm proud of you, and I'm like. You motivate me.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Because I see you following your dream, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I see the stuff that you battling through and fighting through and all of that, man. And it's very motivational. And, the crazy thing is you never know, like, because you on your journey, but you just never know who you motivating, who you reaching by the things you're doing. So I just, if nobody ever tell you, I'm gonna tell you, man. I'm very proud of you, bro. You know what I mean? Like, we go back to goddamn sandcastles at this point. You know what I'm saying? So we've both grown and elevated, man. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity, man. Thank you guys so much.
Hell yeah, man.
You're welcome anywhere I'm at any time, man. I appreciate you. I love you. I love those words. And you actually said that earlier about when you were giving a speech, how you don't know the people you're reaching, you know, and you reach that professor who gave that 2-week notice.
Yo, and that's a truth. I don't remember the professor's name, but hopefully they watching this. But I'm telling you, like, it's so crazy because I went on a panel one time with what's homeboy name used to play for the Heat? Had the blood clot. Had the blood clots in his
Bosch.
Bosch.
Yeah.
So I spoke on a panel with him one time at FIU. It was me and Rico Love had brought me on a panel, and at the end of the panel, he's like, "Yo," because he's into tech and a lot of shit too, but like he was like going through this pivotal point in his life because he's like, "Yo, I might not be able to play basketball." He never ended up really playing basketball again. Yeah. But he's like, "Yo, that shit was crazy." Like, you know what I mean? Because I'm just telling my story. You know what I mean? Like but. Like homie is you know what I mean? Like you a legend, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like what my story, how my story, you know what I'm saying, motivating you any way, form, and fashion. But he pulled me to the side at the end and was like, "Yo, man, that's amazing." You know what I mean? Like, cause I'm going through a point in my life right now, a pivotal point where I'm trying to figure out what's next. And I'm listening to you talk about like, how you stepped outside of your comfort zone and this and that and third. And I mean, you just never know because it's so many people. I go to colleges and I speak to kids all the time, right? And you like, do you because if you know, like a lot of these kids, they go to school to be a doctor or a lawyer, or whatever, and it's like they parents, like, you gonna be a doctor,
Right.
Yeah,
or you gonna be a lawyer, but like you sit there and you ask them, like, do you love what you? Because you got to go to school for like 10 years for this, right. And you ask them, like, yo, do you love what you're doing? They're like, not really. I mean, my dad was a lawyer, you know, my mom was this, and I'm the first doctor in the family, and you know, whatever. But do you love it? Do you want to do that? And like, you'd be surprised how many people say, not really. I don't want to do this, right? So like, you're gonna end up going to school for 10 years, and then some shit after that, and then have to go do a bar and go do all of this shit to go do
make
something
your parents happy.
To make your parents happy, and then you're gonna wake up every morning, going to school to go do some shit that you hate.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And there's a certain wealth that comes with finding something that you're passionate about. It don't even matter how much money you make per se, because when you can wake up every morning and you do something that you love to do,
You ain't working.
you're not working, and it's priceless.
Yep.
It's like it's priceless. You can't even put a price tag on it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I could go on, man. But I ain't gonna talk y'all.
Gems, bro. Gems,
Hey,
bro.
I appreciate y'all.
You're the fucking man. I'm
and you
so
see
proud
the
to call
hat.
you my brother.
Like,
I love you
yeah.
on my heart,
Likewise.
man.
Nah, hell yeah. You see the hat?
Thank you.
Owner, not a player,
Yeah.
baby.
That's real. That's real. I need one of them, man.
I got you.
Hey, man, this has been another.
Wow.
This has been the best episode of Don't Blink podcast.
Yo,
I said it.
Yeah, for
Appreciate it,
sure.
man.
And I
Thank you.
co-sign that shit, bro.
Absolutely,
for
man.
sure,
Thank
bro.
you, everybody, for tuning in, man. Big
Hell
teach in
yeah.
the building. Thank you, my
Much
brother.
love, my
You've
brother.
been a
Thank you.
Hell
blessing
yeah.
in my
Thank you.
life.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Likewise.
Absolutely.
Fucking sick with it.
Thank you.
Y'all tune in for this one, man. We love y'all. Thank you. Oh, you the fucking man, Teach, man.
I think me and Two Nights got something great going on. We got some great guests coming up. It's gonna be dope. We got some dope people that already signed up to do it with us, which is great. A lot of people show us love, and it's because we love them back for sure.